The biggest weapon that they have is atomization. Okay, it is splitting people up into silos. It's making us into little hermetically sealed entities that don't directly communicate with one another. And this is one of the key reasons why dating is now so difficult, because it's happening to everybody. It's happening to men, it's happening to women as well. And we have normalized this bizarre state where the way that we communicate is almost exclusively online. It's almost exclusively via one of these, which we carry around with us all the time. It's when you take a step back and you think about it, you just think about it for a moment, and you think these things didn't even exist 25 years ago, right? Certainly, and even when mobile phones existed, they certainly weren't anything like the smartphones that we have today. It really is quite crazy. And look, I mean, I'm not anti-technology. I'm not some kind of Luddite by any means. I mean, my whole operation is founded in social media and technology. But at the same time, I think in terms of the way our personal lives are now being conducted, it has been disadvantageous, and particularly disadvantageous to younger generations than mine. I mean, in many ways, I regard myself as being lucky, very lucky, because I'm Gen X, right? And so what that means is that I was born at a time when there wasn't internet. You know, people had home computers, played games on it and things. That was about it. And so the whole ascent of the internet, and then of social media and apps and social networking, all the rest of it, happened in my lifetime. But it didn't happen at the beginning, you know. So when I was, you know, a kid, and then when I was going out and first doing dating and stuff like that, it was analog, you know. It was all analog. You had to go out and actually talk to people, you know. There was no other option. If you wanted to make friends, you had to go out and talk to people. There were no sort of, you know, groups online where you could talk to people all over the world about politics or nonsense like that. You know, you had to actually go out, you had to join a club, you know, you had to go and join a running club or a chess club or something and actually meet people in real life. And if you wanted to meet somebody to date, you had to go out. And most people would go out in the evening. They go to bars or clubs, and that would be the way that you would meet people. There was none of this stuff that we do now. There was none of this swiping and messaging and sliding into the DMs and all of that. And I wouldn't have really any problem with any of that stuff if it worked well for everybody. But it doesn't work well for everybody, and that's the problem, really, I think. I mean, when I was a teenager or a late teenager, and somebody said to me, well, look, there's this app, and all you have to do in order to meet a girlfriend is you have to put some photographs up and send some messages, and then job done. I would have thought, great, that's amazing. Who wouldn't have thought that's a fantastic idea? Who wouldn't think, oh, that just takes all of the work out of it, it takes all of the difficulty out of it. Brilliant. Except for a lot of guys specifically, it's just not working, okay? Because there's a lot of guys in towns and cities across England, in towns and cities across Australia, Canada, the USA, Western Europe, and elsewhere, who are on these apps, and they've done their bit. They've uploaded the pictures, they've done what they were supposed to do, they've answered the cringy questions on Hinge, they've got a picture of them holding a fish and saying that they like pizza and artisan coffee, and it's crickets, right? You know, they're not getting any matches, they're not getting any love on there, right? And so for these people, for these guys, the system has failed, all right? And it's worse than that, because the system has failed to do what it says on the tin it does. And, you know, then you have to pay them money, right? You pay for boosts, you pay to send a gift or to send a rose and all that kind of stuff. I mean, so you're actively being hustled for money at the same time. It's not really working for you, or it's not working for you at all. And then on top of that, it has also subtracted from us our ability to interface with each other in real life. In real time, the more time we spend on our phones, the more time we spend in this imaginary digital realm that has been created for us to inhabit, the less time we're spending in the real world actually talking to other human beings, okay? And social skills, in my experience, because I was somebody who had pretty much zero social skills when I was younger, and it's taken really a lot of work to get to a point where I am effective and confident in most social situations most of the time, including dating scenarios and things. In my experience, the only thing that got me out of that and to a point of mastery was persistently practicing, persistently going into situations that put me out of my comfort zone. Okay, put me out of my comfort zone. Situations I would deliberately go into social situations that I found awkward in order to practice. It wasn't because I was hoping for a specific kind of outcome. It was more just to do it. And this is something I would advise you to do, is to go to a bar, go to a nightclub, and then if there's a table and there's 8 girls sitting on the table and they're at a hen night or something, or a bachelorette party, go up to the table and start talking to them. I mean, come what may, it doesn't really matter. Just go up, hey guys, how's it going? You look like having a great time. I can see you're the real party girl here. That kind of thing. It doesn't really matter. Now, it could go in several directions. You might get horribly shot down. They might all kind of look at you and turn their noses up and then start looking at their phones and ignore you, okay? Really embarrassing, really cringe. You'll feel like an idiot. You'll think, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? But that doesn't matter, right? That outcome isn't the important thing. The important thing is that you did it, all right? The important thing is you did it and you pushed yourself out of your comfort zone. You did something that was socially terrifying. It didn't go your way, oh well. But you know what? Now, if you see somebody who's cute and she's, you know, just in a coffee shop and you want to go up and have a conversation, that's going to seem so much easier because you walked up to a table of 8 people and they all ignored you, but it doesn't matter because you're still alive, all right? You live to tell you live to tell the tale, okay? And so, and it's not just about females as well. I mean, with guys as well. I mean, I have, in social situations, countless times deliberately gone up and talked to groups of people. I don't really want to. I don't really like it. I never felt like I was that interested. I never felt, you know, but I would consistently do it to harden myself against the fear of doing it, okay? And again, this is talking to strangers that you might not particularly want to talk to in a social situation, okay? So you're doing the hard work, right? It's like when people train for a marathon and they'll deliberately run more difficult routes than they would have to run for that marathon. Or, you know, people will run on sand, okay? Or they'll run up a hill or something like that. You might not have to do that in the actual marathon, but it's going to make the marathon itself feel easier when you do that, okay? Or there's a thing, I remember in Third Space Gym, they have this altitude training room where you go up into this altitude room and it feels like you're training in a city that's really high up, right, off of sea level. So like Bogota in Colombia, for example, really high altitude. And so when you do anything there, you're out of breath. You know, you're out of breath after 5 minutes, whereas in London, you know, you'd be able to go on for ages. So again, doing the training in those altitude zones is not because you intend to go to, I mean, it might be that you intend to go somewhere of high altitude, but it's primarily so that when you go to a normal environment, it's so much easier, all right? Or it's like running with a backpack with weights in it and all of that kind of stuff, right? You want to do things that are more difficult than the task that you really want to accomplish, because that way, doing the task is going to seem straightforward, it's going to seem like a walk in the park, it's going to seem easy, all right? So that really is the key, I would say. But again, I mean, the apps and the online connectivity that we have, it's stopping us doing that, right? It's preventing us from doing it because we're all kind of, frankly, too lazy. We're all stupefied as well because we're all scrolling, we're all doom scrolling, bed rotting and doom scrolling, all right? And we're not making the time to go out and do this, okay? And I think that for me, the reason that I was successful with this and the reason that I now am able to talk about it and to teach it and everything else is because I spent a good decade or so doing this stuff pre-internet, pre-smartphones. Actually longer than that, a couple of decades. Pre-smartphones, pre-internet, going out, putting in the hard yards, doing this stuff day after day after day. And then you come out the other side, and then after a while you just don't really care anymore, okay? After a while you're just like, well, this is actually not that hard. I actually don't really care that much. If I go in, I speak to somebody, the reaction isn't great, so what, really? I mean, nobody dies. It's not the end of the world, as long as you're calibrated, of course, and you have to be calibrated, and you have to be respectful, and you have to be, you know, going with good intentions and positivity. But beyond that, let the chips fall where they may. It doesn't really matter, you know? So this atomization that we are facing, this separation that's happening within our society, with our consent, by the way, you know, this isn't being foisted on us by malignant forces, or perhaps you think it is, but I mean the reality is we're all accepting it anyway, lovingly. You know, everybody loves it. Like, how happy was everybody in America when they sorted out the TikTok deal, right? What if TikTok had been banned? Everyone would have been gutted, but they're not. So we all love this stuff, we're all willingly buying into this stuff, but it is poisoning our ability to be human beings, to communicate with one another in the way that we used to do. And that is the secret hack. If you're struggling with dating, if you're not getting the results that you want, the thing that will put you above other people in the same position is an ability to just do this stuff in real life and not rely on the apps, not rely on digital communication, not rely on social media, okay? So it's really important, and I would encourage you to think about this. And look, if you need help with this, drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com. We've got some live events coming up. We've also got an online course, which is going to be starting in February, later in February. So email me, troy@realtroyfrancis.com. Do subscribe to the channels, like the video, tell me what you think about this in the comments below, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.